Hey you guys, welcome to my channel where I share stories. Some may make you laugh, some may make you smile, some may make you downright judge me, but hey, who cares? As long as you are gaining lessons that will help you in your journey. Welcome to Unscripted. All right, you guys, so this week I had a story that I wanted to share, but I think I'm going to kind of keep it for next week because I did get several, hold on, my speaker's having a little feedback here. There we go. So I did receive like several questions since my previous Q&A, but last time I selected like 11, like the first 11 questions, and felt it went a little bit long. So today I've only selected 6. Again, I don't know why I'm not going in multiples of 5. I think I'm going to aim for 5, but if I have a little bit of time, I will answer the 6th question. Now, I will say this. Now, I'm not going to do these Q&A episodes, often because, I wanted to share stories. However, since it appears that several of you have questions, from time to time, I guess I will answer the questions. And maybe the questions will be laced with some stories that, again, ultimately, I just want you to gain nuggets, things that'll help you in your life's journey, which is why we have this episode. All right, so let's look at our questions here. And by the way, y'all, if y'all see me, because a lot of complaints I get, you can always say yeah, I'm gonna say often. I'm processing what I want to say aloud. So it is what it is. And secondly, today I'm tired. I am tired. But all good things. So more on that later. Sorry. More on that later. All right. So number 1, what do you believe is the key to building a healthy and lasting romantic relationship in today's world of fast connections? What in the chat GPT, like whoever submitted this question has chat GPT written all over it. But I'm going to read it again to see what you're trying to ask. Okay, what do you believe is the key to building a healthy and lasting romantic relationship in today's world of fast connections? I don't have any belief with regards to that. I don't even know if I'm necessarily qualified to answer that. When you say lasting romantic relationship, yeah, I've had relationships that lasted a long time. And honestly, the first guy that I was engaged to, we met online. Oh my gosh, we met online. So he quick story. So we met online. He reached out to me on Facebook. And so I'm thinking, okay, this one of them Nigerian scams or whatever. And I apologize if you're Nigerian, but just stereotypically, thanks to Dr. Phil, that's what unfortunately is the stereotype now. But I'm thinking, and actually it was, especially during the time where Dr. Phil was doing all those catfish episodes. Yes, I was a huge Dr. Phil fan. Don't judge me. Okay. So this dude reached out to me, and I'm like, I ignored him. I ignored him probably for like a good 2 weeks. He wasn't reaching out every day, but just from time to time he would reach out saying, hey, I love your profile, and so forth. And then he sent something in Creole, and I said, wait a minute, hold on. This dude is Haitian? Like since when Haitians catfish? I don't know, right? So I don't know why. I said, let me kind of fish and let me look at his profile. I realized that he, like how it says mutual friends. One of his mutual friends was this lady that I knew that actually attended my church. So I called her. I said, hey, do you know such and such? She's like, yeah, that's my brother. Pause. Your brother this is your brother? She's like, yeah. I said, he sent me this message and so forth. She's like, really? Okay, well, because he lives in a completely different island. He's in medical school, etc. So I don't know how he would have known anything about you. I said, well, he saw me on Facebook and reached out. Long story short, we ended up connecting pretty quickly on Facebook, and he ended up moving to the States. Yeah, it didn't last. It didn't last. And as much as I tried to make it work, I think I was just trying so hard to make it work that I for sure ignored all of the red flags, all of the scam, because he was a scammer, okay? But all of the red flags, all of the scam, I just ignored, because I was, I just wanted to make the relationship work. And so I don't think I am qualified to answer this question, but I will say that what I've learned with having a fast connection is, for me, that I should always be careful, because what is causing the connection? If you're naturally not the type of person to connect with someone so quickly, what's going on my sleeve? So quickly, like me, don't ignore the red flags. Don't ignore your gut instincts. Don't ignore God when he is just showing you, hey, this may not be a connection that you may want to have. Okay. And I also learned, don't move until God tells you to move. Because, baby, let me tell you something. He ended up with this other lady. And he was just a horrible human being. I was just like, oh my gosh. I could say so much, but I won't. Just in case his family is watching, I want to make sure I'm respectful. But I don't think I'm necessarily qualified to really answer this question. All right. Question 2, how do you approach making ethical decisions in situations where personal values clash with social norms? Okay. How do I approach making ethical decisions in these situations? I try, number one, not to put myself in certain situations where I would have to question, or where I would be placed in a position to where I would have to choose between my personal values and social norms. And it's not always easy, because, let's be clear, I also work, while yes, I do work at a school, a Christian school, while I do work for a church, I also work in what is called secular job, right? I conduct a lot of business, okay? A lot of my bread and butter is not within the Christian circles, okay? So yeah, there's going to be clash in terms of our values, in terms of beliefs, in terms of just our standards, our just ethics, right? That's natural, that's normal. And so what I do is I make it clear what my values are. And I also make it clear, while your values may differ from mine, your value is not going to dictate how I move. And so if that means that I have to lose out on a contract, if that means that I have to, someone that causes someone to disassociate themselves with me, that's between them and whatever they serve. I serve God, and I'm not going to, I'm not going to compromise my relationship with God because of someone or what society tells me that I should do, or how society thinks, states that I should think and feel and so forth. No. I don't do that, and I make that abundantly clear. Love it or leave it, baby. Just love it or leave it. All right. So, and I had to learn that the hard way, because I found myself compromising who I was as a result. And honestly, that just lets me know that at that time that there was a price that I was willing to take for my compromise, which could have resulted in me going to hell, right? Or me being condemned, or me being punished by God. And what's actually sad is that my price value was low. My price value was low, and this is what I mean. I didn't want to compromise friendships. I didn't want to compromise business opportunities. I didn't want to compromise relationships, right? Intimate relationships and so forth. I didn't want to compromise those. But let's think about it. Are those things really worth your soul? Are they really worth your moral compass? Think about that. Are those things really worth it? And 9 out of 10, you find out it's not. Number 3, why do you write dark stories? But I love this question. So first of all, this means this is somebody who knows me. Okay, why do you write dark stories but call it Christian books? Okay. Whoever sent me this, I want to go back and I want to find out who sent me this question. Listen, your trifling tale. Okay, so for those of you guys who don't know, which you probably have not watched my other episodes if you don't know by now, and if you have not watched my other episodes, get it together, okay? But I do write dark stories. I'm drawn to dark stuff. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I love watching documentaries. I love watching true crimes. I love watching cold cases. Like, I just spent over a year watching the YSL trial, like faithfully. Okay, I doubt if I did miss a day, it was like maybe a handful. And I think this trial went over like 370 some odd days. That's just the trial, not even the picking out the jury. So this whole case probably took about 2 years. Okay, I'm one of those people. I will watch a documentary like none other. I don't care how weird, how grotesque, how just like, it just fascinates me, because number one, it's part of history. Number two, it really shows how demented society is. It really shows how dark society is. Now, I do have to be careful with that. I do have to be careful in terms of what I digest, because what I noticed, what was happening at one point, was that I was becoming desensitized with things. So let's say if somebody died, I'm like, oh, okay. Wouldn't feel anything. Where prior to, I'm like, oh, Lord. Like, are you all right, sis? Are you okay? Like, I'll cry with them. But it got to the point where I was like, oh, okay. Almost like, okay, well, that's the norm. And while, yes, that may unfortunately be the norm, especially with things that have happened in society, at least in America within the past couple of years, oh my gosh. But it was taking the humanity out of me. So I watch some of these things now for what it is. It captures history. It captures the mindset of some twisted people. And I don't think that we should be blinded or oblivious to that. All right. Now, with that being said, I wrote several stories. I wrote several books. So, and I'm assuming this person is really talking about the Bitter Root series. So I have 3 books within the 3 books. Yeah, I think 3 books. Rewriting My Story, The Rage Within, and Behind the Mask. Yes. So I have 3 books within the series. And then I also have a short story titled Lost and Found. Okay, so The Bitter Root, Rewriting My Story, was actually my autobiography. All right, and I just I brought like my life experiences to the forefront, just like how I'm doing with Unscripted. But it was really my way of navigating through bitterness. And I had gotten to the point where I knew I needed to address this. So this was my therapy before therapy came, before I started actually attending therapy sessions. Because there was a young lady who did me dirty, who I just felt wronged me. And it had gotten to the point, and I felt like she just wronged me several times. And here I was trying to be her friend and so forth. And she just kept just doing me dirty and lying, and it was just horrible. To the point where if she was dying in the street and she would ask me for a hand, that's as much as she would have gotten from me. That's the hand that you would have gotten from me. To be at that place, and here I am, I'm saved. Here I am trying to get people to come to church, to have a relationship with God and so forth. For me to be at that place, no, something wasn't right. Something was not right. And so I started this was when I started watching like Iyanla, Fix My Life type of stuff, episodes and other shows like that. I was trying to, on my own, navigate through trauma, navigate through experiences, trying to figure out who I was, what brought me to that point. And so I noticed, which is why I like The Bitter Root. If you ever see the cover of my book, which I wish I had it here, but it had a bitter root flower, right? And so something so pretty, something so beautiful, bitter can kill you, right? And so that pretty much summed up where I was. And so hence me just writing and me just trying to get it all out, me seeking God, just praying and so forth, it actually formed that book. And then after that, I decided to just have fun with it. I just decided to and I know that sounds weird, but I was like, okay, well, a lot of people go through dark moments. A lot of people go through dark experiences. That doesn't mean that there's no light at the end of the tunnel. That doesn't mean that God cannot operate and deliver you and free you from those pains and hardship and so forth. So hence book 2, which is the Rage Within. And it follows a biomedical researcher her name was Angelica Hunter. Okay, so in that story, she blamed her father, Devin O'Connor, for the death of her mama. Okay, and so although like he didn't physically kill the mom, she felt that the moment that her dad left her mom, he left her heartbroken. So that just caused her mom to go through depression and so forth. So what Angelica decided to do, because Devin didn't know who she was, decided to take revenge. Because Devin moved on, wife, kids, and so forth. And she wanted to take revenge. She wanted to actually end his life. And so this story just unravels and so forth, and just how did this biomedical researcher end up working for him, and how did she manipulate various relationships with him and his wife, and him and against his kids and so forth. And so it just developed into this whirlwind of just bitterness and destruction. But I also wanted to point out that no matter how you feel, like there's no degree of bitterness that God cannot deliver you from. There's no degree of rage that God cannot deliver you from if you would surrender. The third book, Behind the Mask, was just another fun book to write. Again, I do like writing dark stories where it follows London O'Connor, so Devin's daughter, who in The Rage Within was sexually violated, and I actually do describe the scene. So, you know, if you're sensitive to that, just kind of be careful with that. You can kind of skip that chapter. But I very much go into detail because I see things in pictures. So even if you're explaining a story to me, what you're telling me, I will visualize it as you're speaking. And even sometimes as I'm speaking, I'm visualizing it. That's just how I process. So I was very much descriptive with that. But, you know, the third book, which is Behind the Mask, it actually follows her story post violation, you know, seeing her trying to survive and move past the trauma that was caused by Crazy Bill. Yes, that was the name of the character. However, in her journey of healing, right, she ended up finding a measure of peace. There was other traumatic things that happened, but I don't want to tell the full, you know, give everything away. But you know, she's making a change in her life. She's doing the work. She's going through therapy. She's you know, forming relationships again and so forth. And now she's wiser. She's more focused, right? She's not the immature young lady that we met in The Rage Within. So that shows a measure of evolution. However, she meet this handsome Texan, and everything just flips. That's as much as I'm going to say about that. Okay, because you know, I want you to actually read the story. What other dark story? Lost and Found. I did write that one. That was a short story. It was one of those stories that was in between Rage Within and Behind the Mask, because a lot of my readers were saying, hey, when are you going to bring out your next book? So it was one of those, hey, enjoy this while I'm working on Behind the Mask. And it followed My Joy Avery Summer. It followed her, and it touched on human trafficking, kidnapping, betrayal. Again, things that are actively taking place. You guys, I live in Tampa, Florida. Okay, one of the high in terms of high rates of human trafficking that exists right now within the states. And so I'm just putting out there real scenarios, unfortunately, that are dark. So and I know I took a long time to answer that question. So, but that is why I write dark stories. But I'm always going to have some form of a Christian outlook, an outlook that is filled with hope, that is filled with love, that is filled with possibilities. So I'm going to always do that. And when I do decide to start writing again, which will probably be soon, when I do begin to start writing again, because I do have a couple of series in my head, yeah, some of them may be dark, some of them will probably not be dark, but some of them may be dark, but there will always be some form of hope laced within the story. All right, number 4. I'm trying to keep God at the center of my business, but there are times when it feels like his timing is much slower than I expect. Amen. Amen. Okay. Oh, let me read that part again. I am trying to keep God at the center of my business, but there are times when it feels like his timing is much slower than I expected. All right, here's the question. How can I stay faithful and navigate this struggle while keeping him first? Baby, let me tell you something. What other choice do you have? Because the alternative, you may get some measure of success, especially when it comes to business. You may get some measure of success, okay? But if you are a true believer of God, and if you have faith in him, okay, let him be God. Because while, yes, it may feel slow, and I understand what that means and how that feels, But I've always, when I've actually waited and just be patient, which is something I struggle with patience, the end result was always greater than what I ever expected. It was just greater. I'll give you this example. So part of my business is that I help businesses in terms of developing systems, especially with the administrative component, streamline their processes, develop procedures and so forth that would be beneficial to them. I also make sure that their paperwork is in order, because hey, we don't want, Uncle Sam and then everybody else to shut down your business. You want to run a legitimate business, and you want to make sure that you remove or eliminate as much headache as possible of things that will negatively impact you in the future. Okay, so I had an opportunity to work for a Fortune 500 company, contract them for a very small, for them, a very small project. For me, as a small business owner, I'm like, baby, listen, I'll take this or whatever, paying good money, etc. And I was waiting for them to respond and so forth. And then another opportunity came with a smaller company, paying me a good amount of money, paying me a good amount. But I knew that I would not be able to, at that time, my team would have not been able to handle both clients at that time, because we had already, I think it was like seven other clients. And so I didn't want to spread our team thin, because sometimes with some of our clients, sometimes we have to work with them for a couple of months. And so I had to be mindful of that. I had to be mindful of my team. I had to be mindful of our resources, etc. And I want to make sure that we do an excellent job. So I'm not quick to try to get a lot of clients. I want quality work, right? Because you're gonna pay me some money, so I'm gonna provide you some quality work and quality service. But I was like waiting on this company to move. Okay, like hurry up, sign the dotted line, let's get this going and so forth. But they was moving like molasses. Okay, I have bills to pay, I have employees to pay, I have things to do. Okay, so here's was quick money that was coming. But I knew, watch me now, I knew that this Fortune 500 contract was going to take my business to another level. So I'm like, God, like, come on, sir, like, Daddy, help your daughter, help me out. Like, let's get this thing going and so forth. Like, let's move. Okay, let's move. And I just was like moving like molasses, to the point where I was going to actually accept the other job. What was my saving grace was one of my employees said, Ann, girl, we work by faith, not by sight. And I'm like, well, I want to work by faith and sight, okay? Because what I see right here is us making money, okay? Maybe not as much over here as if we went over here, but time is money. Time is money. We got to keep the ball rolling. We got to do whatever. And she was like, well, let's just give them another 2 weeks. 2 weeks passed. Nothing. I swear. Something came up where I could not call the other company. I think it was like something else, another contract that I had to, another client that we had to service. And we had to do a couple of things that delayed me to contact that company. That delay saved me, because once I was done with that client, I said, okay, God, like, okay, all right, I'm gonna call them. Like, Lord, like, please do it. If not, I'm just gonna call them. And you guys, the company called to say, hey, so sorry. We was in Hong Kong. I think it was like somewhere in Asia. And we're just getting back, etc. We would, we've met, and we want to actually move forward, working with you. So I was actually training their admins, their secretaries and so forth. I always call them just all admins, their administrative team. And so had I went with the other company, while yes, I would have made some money, first of all, I would have not made as much. Oh my gosh. I would have not made as much as I did with the bigger company. And that just taught me, like, hey, Ann, you knew that God wanted you to just hold on and wait. And while he may be moving like molasses, or maybe it may feel like he's moving like molasses, God is working in the background, just setting some things up, and in the process, also building your faith. In the process, he is building your faith. He's like, look, I got you. I've seen this meme where it's this little on social media, this little girl had like this little small teddy bear, and Jesus is like on his knee, like is on one knee, and he has something in his back, and he's reaching out. He said, look, let me have it. And she states something like, but Jesus, I don't want to let it go. And what the meme was showing, because what he had behind his back was a humongous teddy bear. And what he was trying to demonstrate is like, hey, my plans are higher than yours. My plans are greater than yours. You may see great, I see greater. That's how God operates. So every time I'm like, Jesus, you're just moving too slow. I just remember those moments. And I'm like, okay, Ann, just wait. As much as I don't want to wait. And I see that every day, how waiting on God, how that has helped me. So in your business, wait on him, okay? All right. Number 5. How did you and Kiki link up? So, okay, and I'm sorry, Kiki not here. Hopefully our schedules will work where she is with me for next week's episode. But Kiki's family, y'all. I met her through a mutual friend. Like, I want to say 15 plus years ago. I met her through a mutual friend at that time. And we bonded over hair. Like, she's just such a good hairstylist. And at that time, it probably was more than 15 years. I would say almost 20 years. Because I was like in my 20s, and I was a broke college student. And I just couldn't afford to like get my hair done all the time. And with my hair, my natural hair is very interesting in terms of managing. And she would do it like for pennies. Like, she would say, girl, come on, I got some extra weave. Let me sew up your hair. Let me do whatever. Just come here, make sure your hair is washed already and whatever. I'm just gonna hook you up. Like, she would just do that. And even when she was charging me, she's like, girl, just give me $15, give me $20 for a full weave, like full sew-in, okay? And that included the hair. So she just was such a kind person to me. She just opened her heart to me, and we just formed a friendship, so much so that we ended up. She ended up gifting me my godson, DJ. He's such a sweetheart. Oh, he is. Listen. First of all, my godson is fine as all get out, okay? He got a nice little voice. That dude just had another growth spurt. I just talked to him on Sunday, and I was like, bro, I'm going to punch you dead in the chest. He's like 6'3", in the military, so he's in shape and whatever. I'm like, oh, Lord, please. Please keep my son. Please keep my child. But she gifted me my godson. He's such a gentleman, such a sweetheart, he's such a giver, have such a beautiful soul. But that's how Kiki and I linked up. It was just through a mutual friend. From there, we just connected and connected over my struggle. And it was her sharing her reason for doing that, because she did it for several people. And she was like, look, we all go through stuff, and I'm no better than you. It was just that type of vibe that she gave me. And from there, she has just been a booger in my life till this day, because she is a pain in the butt. And I don't care what she said, because she's gonna say that I'm a pain in the butt too, but I don't care. It is what it is. Last question. In one of your episodes, you claimed you were claimed. Okay, you could like I caught that shade. In one of your episodes, you claimed you were an Amazon bestseller. I cannot find your book. Where can I find it? Oh, I don't know why I feel like this question was laced with a lot of shade. Okay, so my pen name is actually my middle name, which is Dina. That's Dina. There's a lot of Dina on Amazon. So if you put the Bitterroot series or Rewriting My Story or The Rage Within, you should be able to click on the author link and get a listing of my book. So happy this question was asked. Boom. Kindness is power. Kindness is power. This is actually my first children's book that I've ever written. I am hoping to continue this series. So of course I stopped writing, by the way, you guys, because I started going to school. And when you're in grad school and then you end up going to get a doctorate, it consumes your life. It consumes your life, especially when you're still trying to run a business, when you're working, when you're in ministry, and you're still trying to have a personal life. So it just consumed a lot of my time. And so at that time, I could not, I stopped writing. That doesn't mean that I didn't outline some stories and so forth, but I had to put a pause. But this is the book that made me an Amazon bestseller, and I want to say in about 11 or 12 categories. Talk about emotional intelligence, talk about how to deal with bullies and so forth. I wrote this book. The main character, her name is Millyanne, is after my mom. Actually, I put the book is dedicated to my tribe, who are my inspiration, and to my parents, Millyanne and Michelle Pierre. I know that you are smiling down on me. So I wrote this. I have beautiful illustrations here. And each character actually represents people that are actually in my life right now. Like this character here, he is, his name is Michael in here. So Michael is the play on word from my dad's name, which is Michelle. But he reminds me of my brother Emmanuel. Like he's so cute, just so cute and fluffy. My brother's not as big as he used to be. But yeah, so I wrote a children's book and so forth, and became an Amazon bestseller in about 11 plus categories. So I'm looking to do another one. And since I was over there, got this book, Out of Order, A Practical Guide to Organization. So anybody who knows me, I am huge. I am big on being organized, being structured as much as possible. And the reason why I wrote this book was because I was conducting a lot of training on how to be organized. In fact, this weekend, I have a leadership meeting that I'm attending, and I'm actually one of the speakers, and I'm talking about how to be productive. And a lot of that has to deal with being organized. That's how you can become productive. So these are just two of the books that I've written. Oh, and with this book, it's actually more so like a workbook feel. So where you can find it, go on Amazon. Type in any of my books: Rewriting My Story, The Rage Within, Behind the Mask, Lost and Found, Out of Order. Just put my name, Dina, there. I've also written a planner for business owners, all available on Amazon. So that is all for tonight's episode of Unscripted. Again, I won't be doing many of these Q&A segments unless you guys want it. I am going to go back to my stories. So next week I have a good story that focuses on